Welcome back. All right, so Boston. Yes, I got to play shipping up to Boston when the game was done. It's always fun to do that during the playoffs. It doesn't make any sense when I play it if the Bruins aren't in the playoffs or if they lose. So yeah, I mean it's nice to play it, and without Pasternak tonight, without that first line. But the thing is, that first line's pretty good, and yeah, yeah, it was pretty good tonight. And for the Islanders, they stuck around in this game for a long time, and I this series is nowhere near over. I expect that there will be those who get kind of cocky, like, all right, so yeah, Bruins are going to steamroll it. I don't think so. I really think the Islanders are going to come back. The shots should be more even in the second game, at least I would think. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But Boston's now won 5 in a row in the playoffs. They've looked dominant over their last, what, three, four? So we'll see whether or not they can maintain that dominance. It's tough to maintain that over a long playoff run, though. You're going to have a down game. So it was Rask versus Sorokin, which should surprise nobody. No Wallstrom. Emotional, big crowd in Boston. And you could just feel that the crowd was really into this. 99th career playoff game for Tuukka Rask. I think they said he won 55 of them. And I thought, okay, so the other 44 Bruins fans have piled on him for how much he sucks and he chokes and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, he played well tonight. He did. He played well tonight. Lauzon also returns to the lineup, and that made a big difference, I thought, on the blue line. Although, Boston needs to stop turning the puck over so much. They get away with it tonight, which kind of makes me more nervous, because if you get away with it and you win the game, you might go, yeah, we're fine. Which would lead me to say, are you though? Are you sure? Because I don't know. So, the fourth line squared off to start the game, so you can see both coaches were putting their lunchbox lines out there to kind of send the message early. Nelson shoots an early one wide. Rask bailed out the defense on an early turnover. Turnovers will be on this board a few times. Pasternak's robbed, pressed then by the Bergeron line. Eberle the other way had a shot that was saved and held during a pretty wide open first few minutes in this game. Isles press at 3.5 minutes. Hall then steals one. Sorokin makes the save there. The shots were 4-3 for the Bruins at 6 minutes. It was pretty evenly played first 6 minutes, and then the Bruins start getting the lion's share of the chances. Pasternak was denied again. Sorokin was the one keeping this scoreless. Big hits were drawing cheers from the crowd. Marchand was defended by Pulock. 8 shots in a row for the Bruins at one stage of this first period as they start really piling on the shots. The Islanders draw the first power play, however, and they score on it. So it's one thing to get the first power play, then you score on it. And it's Beauvillier from Dobson and Eberle at 11:48. And that is against the flow of the play. So it's 1-0 Islanders, even though they've been outshot badly to this stage of the game. And so you start thinking, so the Islanders are looking to do to Boston what they did to Pittsburgh, get outshot and win the game. Krejci had a tip attempt go wide as the Bruins tried to answer. Sorokin then robbed Craig Smith, who would not finish this game. And yeah, Sorokin's pretty good. Scrummy with 4 minutes and 38 seconds left. These teams getting into it early. Pasternak was denied again. He really took that personally, too. Every time he was denied, he's like, oh, I'm going to get it. Pressed by the Islanders with 4 minutes left. Rask then stops a Nelson shot. Better second half for the Islanders. Much better second half. And after they got that goal especially, it felt like it gave them a little more energy for the game. Sorokin then denied Marchand. Krejci had a shot that knocked Sorokin's mask loose. Good chances for Boston late, and then in the last minute, they get a power play. And Boston answers New York Islanders' power play goal with one of their own. And it's Pasternak from Krejci and Bergeron at 1936. He was so good in the faceoff circle tonight. This was 9 seconds into the power play. The one thing is, when he wins the faceoff, Bruins defenseman, make sure you don't cough the puck up right after. That's what started happening as this game went along, and it was kind of one of those, okay, Bergeron at some point is going to go slap somebody. Like, do you see I won the faceoff? Smack. So that's why you don't give up the puck. But it's 1-1 after one. Second period, early chance for the Islanders. Bergeron had a shot that was stopped. The Isles then pushed the other way. Hall fires one high, and then the next one, he fired wide in the net. So his aim was a little bit off at that stage of the game. Lauzon then stopped a Palmieri goal in that the puck was going to Palmieri, and Lauzon kicks it away so it doesn't go to him. So again, Lauzon, good defensive defenseman for Boston. The Islanders then go to a power play. The fans and Cassidy both disagreed on this, and yet for some reason the referee didn't change his mind on it. Block shots on the penalty kill, and the block shots were as close as the Islanders get to the net. They ended up with no shots on that power play. So very good penalty kill by Boston after the power play goal allowed in the first period. The Bruins would press after the penalty ends. Sorokin denies Bergeron. The fans wanted delay of game call. The refs said no. And on the third different angle they showed, it did show that the puck just kisses the glass on the way over. It's not a delay of game. Shots were 4-0 for the Bruins at 6 minutes. Sorokin was the only reason this one was tied to that point. The Islanders had a fast break, which was defended by Bergeron. Rask then stops a Beauvillier shot. Big hit by Smith on Clutterbuck. And then Pastrnak. He scores from Bergeron and Marchand at 11:08. And it was a result of a fantastic shift by that top line. The three of them combined on a goal, and it was scored on a huge rebound. Barzal then fanned on one just after that, but because he fanned on it, it ends up going somewhere else, and Pelech buries it. Eberle passed it to him. It was Komarov that was trying to give it to Barzal. Barzal just whiffs. Eberle gets it to Pelech. Pelech scores at 12:34. That's his first goal of the playoffs. So that tied it up. Blasted from the point. And that's the thing. They were just hanging around. The Islanders were hanging around in this, and they weren't letting the Bruins get away from them. So Marchand tries to answer. That was stopped. Chances and near misses both ways. Smith tips one wide. Sorokin then denies Hall. The Bruins press with 2 minutes left. Things get scrummy at the horn, and it was after a late hit by Marchand. Marchand throws a hit just after the horn. If you throw a hit after the horn sounded, it's going to draw a crowd of guys telling you to not do that anymore. So we go to the third period tied at 2. And this is what the Islanders want on the road. They've been outshot badly by a combined shot total of 30-12. But it's a tie game going into the third. First shot was Zajak's. Shot attempts through 40 minutes were 49-20 for the Bruins. So, again, shot totals and shot attempts are huge, but Islanders are in this. Islanders get an early press. Rask makes his saves there. Grzelcyk then fired one wide. The Bruins would press from there. DeBrusk was in Smith's spot, as Smith doesn't return for the third period. So we'll see whether or not he comes back for the next game. But DeBrusk played well in that spot in the third. Lazar was then denied on a net drive. Too many Bruins on the ice. The Islanders go to the power play. The Bruins had 7 guys on the ice. So, yeah, at one stage there they had 7 guys on the ice. I'm like, yeah, they kind of have to call when there's 7 guys on the ice. You kind of have to call that. Rask makes saves a Bailey shot, and yeah, the Bruins end up killing it off. It was a somewhat dangerous power play, but the Bruins survive it. And then it's McAvoy from Krejci and Corrali at 6:20. And what that scoring doesn't tell you is this was Ritchie screening Sorokin. Sorokin had no idea. He was looking one way, the puck was on the other side. He had no idea where that puck was because of Nick Ritchie. And so Ritchie deserves something for that. And yeah, screens on the shot and fantastic goal there to put the Bruins back in the lead, right? So the crowd erupts. Hall then tries to add one. Sorokin makes the saves. Marchand was battling and taking the puck. When Marchand's playing well, he knocks guys off the puck. He's irritating and agitating. He's not taking penalties, and he's driving to the net, and he's creating opportunities. And it's fantastic to watch when he's playing well. When he does cross that line or when he gets frustrated, yeah, he ends up in the box more often than not. But tonight, not so much. The Islanders could not set things up at the half. They kept trying to get things set up for a push, and the Bruins kept kicking it out. Corrali then rags the puck. The Islanders would clear it. McAvoy then had a shot block on Zajac. Nelson had a chance that was saved after a Bruins turnover. The Bruins got away with some sloppy play. And then Pastrnak, unassisted at 15:50. And I mean sloppy play that, like, they were coughing it up in their own zone again. I know they had a lead, but they're coughing up in their own zone. Pastrnak makes it a 2-goal lead. It's a hat trick. And the number of hats that hit the ice is kind of ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sure that some of the guys who threw their hats will be on the internet now and saying, so, I lost my hat. There were a couple years ago, there were times where there would be hat tricks, and I would actually get emails from people saying, I threw my hat on the ice. I know you have that same hat that I had. Can I have yours? And it's, what? Throw your hat on the ice. I've been at games with hat tricks. Never throw my hat on the ice. Because I have nice hats. I might bring a cheap one to fling on the ice. I'm not throwing one of these nice hats on the ice. So the Islanders do pull the goaltender because they're down by 2. So they have to get 2. So they have to pull the goalie. but then they take a penalty with 3:17 left. So, yeah, we end up with the Boston Bruins ending up with an empty net goal after a power play that they really weren't all that interested in scoring on anyways. Hall scores from Krejci and Riley at 18:35. So Hall finally gets that goal because there's no goalie in net. Krejci with the helper. Krejci could have buried it and decided he'd give it to Taylor Hall instead. So Krejci ends up with 3 assists in this game. Had a very quiet but very effective game. Boston wins this one 5-2. They go up 1-0 in the series. The Islanders now need to win 4 out of 6 against Boston. They can. I don't know if they do, but they could. But again, they have to win Game 2 to make that happen at all. So for Boston, hold serve at home in Game 2, and this series could be kind of lopsided for Boston. But again, we'll see what happens in Game 2. The shots in this were lopsided through the first 2 periods. 18-8 in the first for Boston, 12-4 Boston in the second. Both teams had 10 shots in the third. Final shots 40-22 for Boston. Power plays, the Islanders 1 for 3. Boston was 2 for 2 because this Hall empty netter was technically still a power play goal. You've got to pull the goalie. You're down by 2, so you pull the goalie and you go 5-on-5. Hits were 49-42 for the Islanders. Blocked shots were 9-7 for the Islanders. Only 16 blocked shots. But 91 hits. It was a physical game. Sorokin saves 35 out of 39. Rask saved 20 out of 22. I thought Sorokin played well. They just kept getting shots on him. And it is telling that Boston had 42 hits and 40 shots. Physical game, tough game. And, yeah, we'll see whether or not that wears down the Islanders over a series. Let me know your thoughts regarding this game in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.